and welcome back to another installment here on the Lazy Genius Tarot and Bazaar. My name is Alex, and if you are new here, thank you for making this your first stop on the journey. Today, what we're going to be doing actually is a new tarot tag. I have already typed it into the search bar on YouTube and it didn't pop anything up, so we're going to go ahead and run with it. Uh, Today we are going to be going over my top 10 tarot books for 2021. I figured it would be a good time to sort of take a look forward, see, where I am looking at placing a lot of my attention and energies as far as learning is concerned this year. Books that I plan on using maybe just as references rather than actual learning tools, some of them companions for study. Um, so let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be in no particular order. I just kind of have them all next to me here in a stack. So we're just going to work through that stack. On the top of that stack here today is actually the perfectly penned, dotted journal. It's basically a blank dotted journal. It is an A5 size. It's got the cool little pocket in the back. This is a blank one. I had tried my hand at bullet journaling and it just seemed like a little much just for my everyday life because I don't really have too much going on outside of YouTube. But, um, like most of us nowadays with everything going on in the world. But now that I have sort of this learning series in front of me and I have like a project that I'm going to be working on connected to it, what with the creation of the deck, I figured I would need at least one good book where I could put my notes. I might set it up like a bullet journal. I might just use it like a notebook from a college exam course or something. But this is going to be the probably staple book that I use this year, as this will be the one that I use with every other book coming up on the list here. Next, this is going to be my new reference book for the year, the new Tarot Handbook. I did just recently get this. I've already been kind of using it as my go-to reference whenever I do need to go back into the book for reading or something like that. So that is why I have this one. And again, that's Rachel Pollack's The New Tarot Handbook. So that's book number 2. Book number 3 on the list is What the Fuck is Tarot and How Do I Do It? This is going to be by Barbara Winter. She is the owner of Everyday Magic. I've heard good and bad things about this book. I've heard it's pretty far out there. But then I've also heard that the fact that it's pretty far out there is one of the reasons why I would probably like the book. And then somebody actually sent it to me as a gift, so I am excited to work with it. This is actually a really well-made book, though. The cover actually has this rose petal finish to it, and like if I set it down on my tarot mat, it like moves the whole mat with it because it's got that grippy sort of rose petal finish on the book cover there. It's really nice. There's the back. So I'm excited to work with that one. Next up, this is going to be sort of just a companion for study. This is the magical ritual of the Sanctum Regnum as interpreted by the Tarot Trumps. This is translated from the manuscript of Eliphas Levi, and it is written by W. Wynne Westcott. So this is going to be a Golden Dawn writing. And this is a very interesting take on the majors as a whole. And I like it. I mean, obviously, it's going to be one of those, highly occultic books, right? There's probably a lot of esoteric blinds written into the information here. I do know that there is an actual magical ritual associated with the information in this book. Again, anybody that's been, with me for a few videos, especially a couple of the lives there, probably knows by now that the study of the Golden Dawn and magic as a whole is what led me to the tarot. So that's why I ended up picking this up, was studying a ritual that's actually connected to the information in this book. But I feel like on the surface, also the way that the system that he uses is broken down could also be a good companion to the study of the cards as a whole. So one of the reasons why I say that is because here at the end of the Arcana, as we see, we have the Judgment in the spot of 20, where we normally see it. And then we go on to see the spot of the 21st card in the Major Arcana is actually listed as the Unwise Man, or Lemat. And it breaks down and Lefis Levi's, sort of depiction or meaning of the Fool card there, and then goes into some notes. Now, in these notes, the author sort of goes into the differences in the systems there. Well, not necessarily even the system, but just the sort of oddity that we see the Fool being numbered at 21, and then the World or the Universe card being numbered at 22. It also gives us another sort of esoteric tarot author, P. Christian, who gives another description of the card, where in fact he does still place the Fool between the Judgment and World cards. However, the Judgment and World cards are still numbered 20 and 21. The Fool is either 0 or unnumbered, but still between those two in the lineup. And even goes on to describe how the image of the Fool is depicted according to P. Christian as well. So I feel like that is, and here you see the Universe at 22. So I feel like that's sort of a good segue, especially when we get to the Fool for the learning series, into the differences in the Fool and why we see it sometimes numbered at 22, why we sometimes see it numbered apparently at 21, and why we sometimes see the numbers of the Arcana rearranged at the final positions there when it comes to the World card, sometimes when the Fool is placed at the end of the deck like that. So I figured that would be a cool rabbit hole to explore. Also, not just going through the study of the majors as a whole, but also when we get to the Fool, that sort of rabbit hole of why is he always jumping around in the Arcana. Next on the list is Advanced Tarot Secrets by Dusty White. This is another one of those rose petal finish covers, and this one seems to be a pretty cool book. Now, the back of the book has a bunch of spreads and goal setting spreads and choices and consequences and linear time spreads and how to break down certain spreads and how to use other spreads. Like here's a hero's journey spread, right? And it will walk you through how to do all of these spreads and the exercises connected to them. Here we see a couple of different multi-card spreads that are really big, right? And this will show you how to read them and how the cards are connected and where. So it kind of breaks down fun things in regards to the tarot and how to work with it and explore it. Sort of breaks down all these different options that it gives you. And then you have spread techniques, where it sort of breaks down how to read spreads using the Celtic cross. And then before that, you have spread basics, where it sort of course, goes through the basics of a spread. Then you have a few different games that can be played with the tarot. as well as some new exercises. So I figured this would be sort of a cool extension of the learning journey, just to dive a little bit deeper into tarot as a system among itself. Um, Next, because I feel like there's no better place to go for information on a deck than the source when I am looking into the Thoth system. This is going to be my initial go-to book for that. And of course, this is the Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley, or the Egyptian Tarot, written by the Master Therian. And again, this is definitely another esoteric Golden Dawn writing. You see a lot of the same, markers of a esoteric book here. Also, this is going to be the 11th printing from 1985, and it just breaks down the Thoth system, of course. This book in particular is pretty cool because while most of it is in like a black and white format, there's a small section here towards the front that gives you a few of the cards in color. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is sort of going to be my go-to book for learning the Thoth system, because like I said, no better place to go than directly to the horse's mouth. The same concept for the next book. This is the Pictorial Key to the Tarot. This is a University Books printing from 1959, actually, from Hyde Park, New York. And there we go, 1959. This little edition of it is pretty cool because it's got the color cards. But this will be sort of like a starting point or a jumping pad for the RWS system, because a lot of the books that I've already shown and a couple of the books that I still have yet to show will dive a little bit deeper into that system as well. So definitely going to be using that one. I do still have the cover for it, actually. But while I'm actually using the book, not only am I going to be careful with the book because it's so old, but I'm not going to keep the cover on it while I'm using it because I don't want to mess this up at all. And then for Marseille, back when I was looking for Marseille books, this one probably had the most recommendations. This one or the original version of the book, because it's the exact same information in the first edition, but I can't remember the name that the book was originally titled. I'm sure somebody can remind me in the comments. But yeah, this is going to be the book that I used for the Marseille system. It comes the most highly recommended. Unfortunately, Marseille is one of those things where when it comes to wanting to learn the system, you can't necessarily go to the horse's mouth. There's too many different places where Marseille decks were coming from, and a lot of these older decks didn't come with books or anything like that. They were just decks, right? Some of these decks were considered to be books in and of themselves. So this will be the Marseille book that I use. If you guys have any other recommendations for a Marseille book specifically, please put them in the comments. I am definitely looking for another take on the Marseille system outside of this. While I know that this is a great starting point, I always like to have a way to expand. So if anybody knows of any other good Marseille books, please do let me know. The next book on the list here is going to be the Tarot 101 by Kim Huggins. This whole book is sort of written out as like a study course. It's got homework and lessons and exercises and the whole nine. Goes through spreads and each of the cards, and it's got spreads for certain cards, and especially when working through the majors, if I'm not mistaken, all of the majors have a spread. Yeah, I think so. But definitely a lot of stuff in here. And if all the majors don't have a spread, because I haven't made it that far in the book yet, as you see, I've only made it this far in. But I've already started the process of going through these books here. Um, oh, that's a postcard from, it's a pretty cool postcard though that I got from the person that I bought the book from. But yeah, so I've already started working with this one, so I'm excited to see what it's got in store here. And then the last one on the list is Terra Wisdom by Rachel Pollack. Um, I I figured out about this book about halfway through 78 Degrees of Wisdom. So I bought it when I got the chance, and I still haven't gotten a chance to dive into the book yet. So I'm going to take the year ahead of me as the opportunity to do so. One of the main reasons why I really wanted to work with this book in the first place is because the way that I would like to set up the learning series is I want to look at tarot as a whole. So we are going to be examining all three systems at the same time. So we're only going to do one card a week because we are examining it from all three systems at the same time. But this book sort of breaks down the tarot in that same way. So each of the cards has the information and breakdown, so to speak, for all sorts of different systems. So here you've got the associations for the Five of Pentacles and how that connects to all sorts of stuff. You've got a Rider-Waite meaning, a Golden Dawn meaning. So definitely a lot of information in there, and then it breaks down the whole suit. So I've heard nothing but good things about this book, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. And I feel like it's gonna sort of approach tarot the same way that I would like to while going through this learning series. So yeah, that is the 10 books, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, the 10 books that I am going to be using this year in regards to my tarot journey. So that is the hashtag, my top 10 tarot books for 2021. So yeah, hopefully you guys will jump in and play along. I'd love to see your responses. Definitely a book nerd just as much as I am a tarot nerd. So definitely interested in seeing everybody's responses and seeing what everybody else's books are that they're going to work with this year or that they were planning on using for their tarot journey, and expanding their knowledge of what it is that we all come here for every day. So definitely thank you guys for hanging out with me and coming to spend some time as I go over the 10 books that I'm going to be using this year for tarot. Hopefully I will see you on the next one, and I will catch you guys later.